Hey guys, now we're going to see some WWE wrestlers who got into real fights with another wrestler outside the ring. None of this was planned, they really got mad at each other, and the only way to fix it was to throw down. There's a lot of drama in wrestling that goes unseen, from wrestlers not wanting to sell the moves, to ones not wanting to accept the role of the loser. Let's get started, but first give this video a like and subscribe, or I'm going to punch you in the throat. Sin Cara is a small fighter, measuring around 5'7". He's small compared to other WWE fighters, like Sheamus, who measures 6'4", but Sin Cara has a reputation of having won 3 fights outside the ring, and one of them was against the giant from Ireland. The story goes that while Sin Cara was lying down receiving treatment, Sheamus came in and told him to get out of the way, because he was more important. Sin Cara then stood up and exposed him for just saying hello to the big stars and being extremely cocky. That's when Sheamus threw a punch at him, but Sin Cara dodged it and then swept his legs and punched him in the air as he was falling. That's where the fight ended, since others came in to separate them, but Sin Cara clearly won. Booker T is a very muscular fighter, but compared to the big man that is Batista, one would think that Batista would easily overpower him. But in 2006, when Batista was in the early days of his career, he entered the dressing room and did not greet all the fighters, only the most famous ones. That is something that is not done. It is one of the unwritten rules, since respect is very important in such a dangerous sport. That's when Booker T, who was a veteran and a leader, grabbed him and they started grappling. There are different stories, but mostly that Booker T beat up Batista that night. Booker T got a black eye, but Batista is said to have had more injuries. Matt Hardy started with a play fight against Torres in a bar, and while they were playing, Hardy accidentally landed a punch on Torres that was too hard and gave her a black eye. Well, that's when things started to heat up, as Torres, who was trained by the Gracies in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, then put the drunk Hardy in a rear naked choke. And you would think that the fight would end there, but Torres did not stop until she was able to make Hardy lose consciousness. It wasn't a real fight with anger, things just got heated, and while Torres wanted a little revenge, and with her training, she did what she wanted to do with Matt Hardy. Vader is a huge man, and by his own admission, weighs around 400 pounds, but he is pretty strong and says that he can bench press up to 600 pounds. Clearly, a lot of people would struggle to beat him, but wrestler Paul Orndorff had no trouble at all. It all started when Vader showed up an hour and a half late for an interview, and Paul started saying things to him, like that he was irresponsible and a fat good-for-nothing right to his face. That's when Vader got tired and slapped him. From then on, it was all Paul, who punched him into the wall and then knocked him down where he kicked him in the face. Witnesses say that Vader was left in a heap, bleeding everywhere. Vader said that he didn't want to fight, that he did slap him, but since Paul had an injured arm, he didn't really want to fight. But then he said later, once they were separated, that now he did want to fight, but it was too late. He clearly lost the fight and was looking for a way out. Shane the Hurricane Helms is a wrestler on the smaller side, and when the WCW got rid of a lot of talent, they moved to the WWE, including Helms and Buff Bagwell. Bagwell weighed 50 pounds more than Helms, and on one occasion, while they were training, Bagwell started telling Helms a lot of things, like he was never going to make it, and other horrible things, and it was all out of jealousy. Helms did not stay quiet, and they exchanged words until Bagwell came up behind him and punched him. Helms then turned around and threw a water bottle at him and was ready to even swing at him, but the plastic bottle opened a huge gash and everything stopped at that point. Bagwell received 22 stitches, while Helms received the respect of all WWE wrestlers. Apparently Sheamus, the Giant, is not good at fighting, since again, there's a story where he lost against another smaller fighter. This time it was against Yoshitatsu, who has boxing training, and well, he put in a real beating on him. These two, along with Ted Diabetes, lived in an apartment together, and Sheamus believed himself to be the head of the household. So one day, Diabetes and Tatsu confronted Sheamus and complained that he used their stuff all the time. Sheamus got mad and threw the protein shaker at him, the protein shaker that belonged to Tatsu, and apparently Tatsu just grabbed it midair. Sheamus then charged him trying to hit him, but Tatsu easily overpowered him, and there are rumors that the beating was so bad that Sheamus almost cried. Such a big guy, but can't beat anybody. The most recent fight was in the new AEW promotion, when they were eating at a restaurant in Maryland, and even the owner was there. Havoc started saying things to Excalibur, who answered back, and that's when Havoc threw a punch at him that didn't connect. This is where Excalibur caught him with his grappling, and then put him in a rear naked choke, until security were able to separate them. Havoc kept throwing punches, but none connected, until he was taken away. Excalibur tried to make amends again, but Havoc still wanted to fight. That's where the feud ended, with Excalibur winning the fight and being the bigger man as well. Well, now we have a fight between a wrestler and JBL, who one expects could easily be an announcer, but that was not the case, since Joey Styles put him in his place. JBL was known as a wrestler who liked to play around with the rookies and announcers by making jokes and just being a bully. But this day, he chose the wrong victim when he called him terrible names and even threw a soda on him. Styles stood up and walked over to JBL at the bar and just punched him in the face. Some say that he knocked him down, but it is not confirmed. What is confirmed is that JBL was left with a black eye. Everyone also assures that JBL left and locked himself in his hotel and has never talked about this event. One of the legendary wrestlers was the Ultimate Warrior, but many wrestlers complained about his skills in the ring, since he was very stiff and did not take care of his partners, and many times they were dropped so hard that the wind was knocked out of them. Rick Rude one day told him if he could please take it easy and try to be more careful. The Ultimate Warrior replied saying that he didn't need to do any of that, since he was the star and could do whatever he wanted. So since he didn't want to listen to words, he punched him in the face, and there are some who say that he knocked him down, and others that he knocked him out. Whatever the case may be, he clearly lost the fight. If you don't want to take care of your teammates in the ring, they won't take care of you outside of it. One of the most famous fights was between Chris Jericho and the much larger Goldberg. When they were in the WCW, Jericho wanted to fight for Goldberg's title, but it wasn't done as Goldberg said that Jericho was too small and it wouldn't look real. He also talked a lot about him, and they didn't like each other, so when they moved to the WWE, Jericho wasn't going to put up with his trash talking anymore, and the first time he heard him say anything about him, Jericho confronted him. Backstage, Jericho told Goldberg that he heard what he said, and when Goldberg tried to deny it, Jericho told him that it was too late, that he had already confirmed it. Goldberg stood up and went toe-to-toe, and then grabbed him by the neck. That's when Jericho grabbed his head and pulled him down and put him in a guillotine choke. He kept choking him, waiting for Goldberg to react and send him flying with his massive strength, but he never did. Goldberg never landed a punch on him, and Jericho said that it seemed like Goldberg had never had to fight, that his size was so intimidating that everyone backed down before they actually had the fight. But here he lost, and everybody learned that Goldberg is not that tough after all. Well, how are some wrestlers not going to get angry knowing that they are going to just be a stepping stone for other superstars, selling every move just for others to rise to the top? It has to tire anybody out. Let me know which is your favorite wrestler in WWE history. Thanks for watching this video. I'll see you next time.